This is the DJI Lito 1. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can make 3D models, point clouds with this drone via photogrammetry. I'm also going to show you how you can make this drone more accurate without RTK, PPK, or ground control points. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to patch and clean up the resulting model so you can present it to clients. The DJI Lito 1 has two obstacle avoidance sensors on the top and bottom, providing full 360-degree obstacle avoidance. It does not feature waypoints, which means that if you wanted to use a waypoint map to fully automate the flying of this drone, you cannot. And if you want to be able to do that, which I would recommend because that is a major time saver, you should consider getting the X1. The X1 has LiDAR on the front, and it also has a slightly different camera and a larger sensor camera. This is a 1/2 inch, and then this is one for 1.3 inch, which ends up meaning that you get a little less noise, a little higher quality, and something to consider when you are purchasing drones. In addition, this drone does not have any internal storage, so you're going to need to get an SD card to put in here. But the flight time you get is about 30 some minutes, which is pretty good, and especially since this is a cheaper drone, and if you're looking for something just entry level with the 360-degree obstacle avoidance, I would say this is an option. I would still, once again, push you heavily, if you were even considering mapping, to get the X1. The X1 with the automated mapping capability, the bigger sensor, is a substantial upgrade when it comes to actually flying for photogrammetry and 3D mapping. Also, if you're considering getting this for mapping, consider also getting the extra batteries. These batteries do not work with the DJI Mini series, so maybe you have a Mini 3 Pro. These are a separate type of battery. They look similar, but they are very different. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go fly at the two parks that I normally test at. We have a community center, and we also have a baseball field that we like to normally go fly at. So I'm going to go hop over there and let's go start capturing images. I'll walk you through the process. Since we have to manually do this, I will have to show you and explain how I'm doing this process. But at the end, we should have two different models and also be able to compare those to some different other drones. And then we'll also finish the model up, patch any holes, and then we'll go from there. So there are a few things that we can do to try to make it a little bit easier. And so one, you can drag and select an area. And as you can see here, if we drag, select the area of the center of kind of like the subject that we want to look at, and then we fly around, it will keep the drone focused on that subject, which is really good for then trying to capture the pictures that we need, because no matter how we fly around, the camera will be focused on what we are trying to capture. So this helps make it a little bit easier to capture these images, especially when you are also trying to focus on just getting all of the different sides. So this is a good thing to start with. And then also we are going to then want to go capture the images, and one of the best things to do for this is using the time shots feature, which is a feature that is on the Lito 1 and most DJI drones. So the time shots feature takes an image every couple of seconds. You can select the interval, you can set it from anywhere from 1 all the way up to 5-10 seconds. The interval that it sets, though, does mess with the resolution. So as you can see here, I'm doing 3 seconds, but it only lets me shoot at 12 megapixels. And this is, I believe, a restriction due to how fast it can just write the picture to storage. So just keep in mind there is a little bit of a trade-off. If you have a lower interval of time between the images, it makes it a little bit easier to go through and capture, but at the same time, it also decreases the resolution a little bit. I don't really see that big of a difference in my testing, but it is also something to consider. So the first thing I want to show you is an optional step you can choose to do that basically makes your models more accurate. Now, this isn't required, and if you're doing this for the first time and you're just trying to learn, I wouldn't recommend this. But if you do want to be able to advertise to your clients that you have more accurate models than maybe just a regular GPS system, then I would highly recommend that you consider this. I built this tool out so all you have to do is just upload your images and it returns back the corrected, more accurate images. Then you can take those images and put them into any photogrammetry software, and the increased accuracy carries over to that as well. So it makes anything that you throw these images in from this drone more accurate. You can upload some images for free and get a modest accuracy boost without having to pay anything. So I'm going to go through and select all the images from a single flight, and then I am going to upload them. And once it's done, you'll get a downloaded zip and a report of how much error it was able to reduce it by. Next, we take all those images and we throw them into Aerial Model. Aerial Model will then take these images and reconstruct them into what's called a point cloud or a model. And then from that, we can use that in the next steps of this project and also to compare those. So here are the two final projects that came out of the Lito 1. We have the baseball field as usual, if I jump the quality up a little bit. And we have this community center as well. Now, if you'll notice, there's a little bit of some stuff that we need to clean up. There's a lot of actual mess here. And also there's some spots that didn't do too good that need to kind of be cleaned up and patched as well. So next step is I'm going to show you how to clean up and patch this model. And then we'll compare the final one with the other drone. Specifically, I have a Neo 2 to compare this with. So to clean up the model itself, I'm going to use Point Cloud Editor. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to make a new project and we'll call this Lito 1. Create this and let's upload our first layer. I'm going to select an aerial model project and then I'm going to come over here, copy this link and just do initial and then import this project, and then this will process in and then we'll get this point cloud directly uploaded into here and we can then start editing it. And when we open it up, as you'll see, we can see everything that we saw in the aerial model. We can adjust the quality and we can also go ahead and start selecting stuff. Now, first off, the big thing for me is there's a lot of points down here that we do not need. This is just junk data. We can get rid of it. We can delete it. And then that makes it a little bit better. So as you can see, we've gotten rid of all that junk. Let's also go through and try to get rid of all the trees because we don't really need all this extra data. We're really only focused on just the point cloud that actually matters, which is specifically just the community center. So we can delete this. We can go through here and also delete this. And just by doing this, not only are we saving a lot of the storage, but we're also cleaning this up. So it's easier to compare because this file will probably shrink by a tremendous amount just by getting rid of all the junk data that we really don't need. These trees aren't that important. I mean, you could always keep them if they were really that big of a deal, but for the most part, we only really care about the building that we're trying to take a look at. And so there we go. We can go ahead and annotate things and add measurements and stuff, but I'm not entirely concerned about that. What I am concerned about, though, is this little bit of data here that I'd like to clean up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a good angle on it and I'm just going to get rid of a lot of this because this is definitely a bad patch and I'm just going to get rid of that all. And you're like, well, what are you doing, Jay? Well, what we're going to do next is then we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing and we're going to make a copy. So this is basically what we're doing is we're patching it. So I'm going to make a copy, I'm going to paste it, and then I'm going to get a measurement tool, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of line this up. It's going to take a little bit of work. This is going to be just a little bit of a process. But then the result is, if we bump this up just a slight bit, then the result is something that might look a little different, but at the same time also solves our issue. So we hit save and close. As you can see here, this now looks a lot better than what it looked before without all that extra junk data. So now we've patched up the model and produced a final result, which ends up looking really good. Overall, the corners look really solid, and compared to the Lito X1, which I opened this up back in aerial model here, we can see that the Neo also does a really solid job as well. So both of them do really good, but as you can see over here, we have some errors here that we need to patch up, and especially some stuff along this corner too. So we can throw that in here if we wanted to, and then compare them side by side. But then this makes our models look a lot better as a final result. For the baseball field, you'll see that we have some things that we can patch up too, these little holes. So we can make a new project, copy and paste that link up from aerial model, import, wait for it to finish, open it, and then we can start getting rid of all the stuff that we don't want to see. But also we can go through and patch this. So real quick. Okay. So my point is, and while I'm cutting this all up to oblivion, is we have cut out all the pieces that we want. Really, we only want the center of this baseball field. We can select let's see what matters to us. So for example, if we want to select some patches over here that we want to make some copies and paste of, adjust the quality too, then we can move this over here. Good. And then we can even, I might move this up a little bit to see it better, and then rotate this some more. And we can move it and then drop it down in there to then solve our issue there. And then that solves the patch, and the resulting is something that you don't really even see now. So you can just repeat this process. You can export the final model once you've done that, but this allows you to patch up a lot of the yucky areas, as you can see here, and you can spend a good bit of time fixing up a model so that it actually looks a lot more accurate rather than having a lot of artifacting. You can see just by nature a lot of the picky and difficult areas do get kind of, as you can see, lots of holes here. So depending on your coverage, it's a way to kind of clean up some spots. Maybe you didn't do a really good job planning your flight or flying it at the time. It's a way to kind of save your butt. So thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you around, and goodbye.